All right, so today I'm going to talk about the try with resources functionality in Java and the AutoCloseable interface. So as of Java 7, the AutoCloseable interface was added for classes that hold resources like files and socket handles because we wanted to make sure that the close function, the close method was called when we left the try block. That wasn't happening because if you've played with these try blocks, you'll know that they can get a little clunky. So let's go ahead and look at our objective. Let's take a look at this try with resources. We're going to create two classes that implement AutoCloseable, much like our file reader and file writer stuff did. We're going to instantiate them, and we're going to observe how they get closed with this AutoCloseable. Let's go to our package, right-click, new, class. I'm going to say first class. And in my first class, I'm going to do an implements AutoCloseable. Alrighty, there we go. It's going to ask me to, hold on a second, just catching up. Let me save it. Boom. There we go. Add unimplemented methods. Sometimes it does that. That's weird. Let me go ahead and put a little print statement. I'm going to say sysout, control space. Let's put our class where we are so we can see the order at which these are called. First class, I'm going to say closing resources. All right, let's do our second class. Let's go ahead and add that or save that. Right click on the package, new class. And this is going to be my second class. Implements AutoCloseable. There we go. Oh, did it again. Save everything. There we go. Add unimplemented methods. Sysout, command space, second class, closing resources. All right, so we have this close method. We have to make sure that it's called automatically. We don't want to have to close it. That is the point of this video. That is the point of the AutoCloseable. Let's go to our application. And before, like when we were doing file readers and file writers and stuff, which we're going to kind of pretend this is, we'd have to do our try catch, right? We'd have our try, we'd have our catch down here. We'd have an exception, probably be an IO exception, right? But here I'll just do an exception. Sysout, we print our exception. I'll say my exception, and concatenate the message, the get message. Alrighty, we'd have our exception, and then we would get our, let's get our first class, FC, and first class. That would be like maybe a file reader. Then we'd have our second class, SC, new, second class, be maybe a buffered reader, right, that needs the file reader. Let's do our sysout, running some stuff. Then we would say, oh, we got to close our resources. Usually you go in reverse order. So that's a spoiler alert for this up here, right? So reverse order, because a buffered, the buffered reader should be closed before the file reader. Closed. And then FC, close. Oh man, close. But here's the problem. What happens if the exception is thrown here? Then these don't get closed. All right, so what we can do is we can go ahead and put a finally. Right, this is the old way. And we just move these down here to the finally. Now they'll get closed, right? But no, they're defined in here. So then what we'd have to do is we would have to like define these up here, instantiate them down here, and then check here to see if they're null. Oh, and then you might need a try catch inside the finally because you could throw an exception in the close, right? So that was no good. A lot of people were getting that wrong. and it was clunky, very clunky. Let's get rid of the finally. Let's do it the Java 7 and above way. Let's define a, what do I call that? Resource specification header. That sounds fancy. All I'm going to do is have an open parenthesis here, a close parenthesis here, and the curly bracket after that. Now, this is my resource specification header. Anything that has my AutoCloseable interface implemented, or Java's AutoCloseable interface implemented, will close automatically. The close will be called automatically, regardless of what happens down here. So let's go and take a look. We run it. Ha! Look, running some stuff. I spelled closing wrong, but you still understand. Second class closed first. First class closed second. So reverse order, right? Reverse order of how it's defined up here. That will might get you a point on your Java certification exam. What happens if this is the best case though, right? Everything works fine. What happens if we get an exception? What happens if we have throw new exception? I'll put a message, hey man, and exception should be capital. There we go. Now we're good. I'm gonna throw that exception. Oh my gosh, that's not a that's a semicolon, not a colon. And we'll go here. Boom. Look at that. Hey man. So we still closed our stuff before the exception was called. That's kind of the point, right? When you leave that try block, whether it's to catch the exception, whether it's to do the finally, whether it's to move on in your program, make sure the close gets called, and AutoCloseable does that. So there you go. It's a little tutorial. Hopefully it was helpful, and I will see you in the next video.